Enhancer gave me the opportunity to try out their new film emulation plugin. I did a little solo filmmaking here in my studio to try it out. Me personally, for my editing software, I'm using Final Cut Pro, but Enhancer also works in DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere, and After Effects. If you're big into the film look, this has 63 film color profiles. You can pretty much do your whole grade inside of Enhancer. You can do film grain, you can do halation, you can do bloom, amongst other tools inside the software. So you see I have it on an adjustment layer on my timeline. So you can take your footage from log and turn it into Rec 709 inside of Enhancer. You can select your camera from the profile, and you can use one of the many film stocks that they have for LUTs. You have exposure comp. You can use it to compensate for the exposure errors that you made inside of camera. And if you're familiar with film, you probably know what the push and pull means, but if you're not, it's pretty much that all film behaves differently depending on how much light they receive during exposure. The film compression tool lets you fine-tune your highlights. And then you have your print film stocks. It's like a paper print for direct viewing or a positive film for screen projection. Some of these tools I'm still playing around and trying to learn, but this is the best film stock emulation plugin that I've ever used. Everybody loves a little film grain. Besides the film stock itself, this is kind of like what the bread and butter is to get the film look, is throwing in a little grain on your footage. The negative grain is more pronounced and the positive is a little softer. Then you have your halation. The halation is a big part of the film look too. It kind of like adds a little red-orange halo around the light sources. Then you have the bloom effect, which is pretty much like putting a Pro Mist filter on your lens or any kind of diffusion filter to kind of soften the image, add a little glow to it. You could choose to put on a little vignette, kind of like, guess you could say darkens the side of the image a little bit. This also allows you to see your false colors, which is pretty dope in my opinion. And then they give you this clipping indication, which allows you to see where your highlights are clipping. And once you play around with everything and have all the settings you think you want, you can play around with the output, and that's everything you put together. You can slide it left or right and figure out how much you want it to impact your image. What's also pretty dope about Enhancer is that you can save your LUT. Whatever you create inside of Enhancer, grain and all, whatever, you can actually save that LUT to your desktop. For the film look, Enhancer pretty much has everything you need inside of it. If you're looking to try out Enhancer for yourself, use the code TrillisBliss. Get a 10% discount. I appreciate you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.